I must admit that I am stalled on Pascal Boyer's Religion Explained. I will continue it at some point, but right at the moment I had to sort of overcome my own mental reservations. And I want to do that by quoting from Bernard M.G. Reardon's book, From Coleridge to Gore, page 270 to 71. And this is about utilitarians, but it applies, I think, somewhat to Boyer. Speaking of the early utilitarians, Jeremy Bentham and James Mill, the father of John Stuart Mill, and George Grote, all of them disclose virtually no appreciation whatever of religious sentiment as an expression of human need, and to look to any of to them for a fair account of Christianity of their day as idle, since their notion of its teaching never rises above crude deism. Of religious belief as the projection and symbol, however tentative or partial, of a high moral ideal, they have hardly an inkling. But, personal prejudice aside, the whole interest and tenor of utilitarianism thinking was opposed to religious aspirations. Its main concern was social reform, which it believed would be brought about only on the basis of scientific study of social relations. Religion professing to deal with a transcendent world offered nothing that could be scientifically investigated. It was therefore dismissed. The church was also resented and disliked as a nest of privilege, and for the support it lent to an unjust and inefficient social order. Fundamentally, however, it was the utilitarian philosophy itself, as an anti-metaphysical empiricism, which was irreconcilable with religious belief. End quote. Now, I had that quote for a long time because I have seen how scientists, social and otherwise, often dismiss religion. I can remember over the years of my a number of cocktail parties where I was cornered by. I always served in academic towns, and was cornered by academics, usually English ones, but others. I don't mean English ethnically. I mean English in terms of subject. But the scientists, in particular, dismissed religion as superstition and wondered how I, as a clearly educated person, could believe such twaddle. You know, the problem I'm having with Boyer is that it's a bit like systematic theology. Systematic theology is logic in a circle. It sort of starts in one place and moves around the theological spectrum and comes back to the same place. So it's this contained thing. And what's containing it, I think, is the fact that is the scientifically observable. In other words, those things that are subject to repetition. It seems that God is not something that can be scientifically studied, being utterly unique. And so what's sort of halted me, I think, as I'm thinking about it, is Well, I'm trying to figure out what it is that's halted me, but certainly Boyer seems to be in this sort of classic scientific circle of, well, if we can't repeat it, if we can't subject it to experimentation, then it doesn't exist. Now, he's much more generous than that. He looks at the Fang people whom he studied personally with great generosity, and accepts their religious experiences as genuine for them. But they are genuine, period. For them or not, they are genuine. Wouldn't work for him, perhaps. And as an observer, an outside observer, not interested in them being their religious understanding. The thing is, he's mostly dealing with popular religion of that really has no pretensions at trying to understand itself. And he sort of sets aside all the sophisticated thinking of Western educated life.